Good day everyone, welcome to episode 2 of our reggae class. In the previous episode, we discussed how we can rig our character in 2 minutes using the word Autodesk Maya Quick Rig. So the Autodesk Maya Quick Rig created this FK and IK joint for us and the controls. In the previous episode, I demonstrated how we did this. So if this is your first time on the channel, I advise you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel, turn on the notification bell so you get notified each time we drop new content. Leave a comment below so we know what area to cover when it comes to 3D animation, modeling, reggae, and etc. Share this video. God bless you. And if you've not watched episode 1, I would strongly advise you to please go watch episode 1, because this episode 2 is a continuation from the episode 1. Like I said in the previous episode, I told you that our Quick Rig character doesn't do everything for us, although it does a lot for us. One of the things I also love about the Quick Rig is its flexibility. Like you can see, I can actually deform this character with just one control. That is one thing I love about Quick Rig. It's very flexible. When you rig your character using the Autodesk Maya Quick Rig, it gives it flexibility. It's very flexible, and it's what we need, what animators need. They need the character to be flexible, something that they can manipulate easily. And you can see how this leg is deforming, even though I'm using just this control. That is what the Quick Rig, and that's one thing I love about it. And in the Quick Rig, we use it step by step. In the previous episode, I already demonstrated that and how to do that, and I will be going into that this episode. So in this episode, we will be creating the joints that controls our character's fingers and that of the toes. That's exactly what we'll be doing in this episode. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is to ensure that we detach the skeleton from the mesh. That is exactly the first thing we are going to do. We have to detach the skeleton from the mesh, and to do that, open your Quick Rig character reference. Quick Rig character reference. To open all the groups, you can just press Shift plus the right mouse button. Then ensure that you select all the joints, then Control select the mesh. Then ensure you are in the ringing menu set, skin, then go to skin, embed skin. In the widget that appear, ensure that the history is set to delete history. Do not keep history, do not pick history. Ensure it is delete history. And coloring, ensure it is unchecked, because we don't want the color to be removed. And then click on detached. You can see now that if you use the control like before, the skeleton no longer control the model, because we have detached it. The next thing we need to do is to go over to this joint, the full joint. Head over to Quick Rig. Head over to Quick Rig character control. Quick Rig character control right foot. Quick Rig character control right foot. That's what they open the groups. Click on Quick Rig character control right base. and delete it. As you can see, successfully was deleted this joint, this control, the FK joint, because we don't need it. And we'll do same for the left foot. So we'll do same for the left foot. Don't forget, I opened the group quickly, character control reference group. That's the group I opened. So now we'll be deleting for the left foot. So in the left foot, deleting for the left foot. So yeah, we delete quick character control left tools base, delete it, and we've done that. Now that we've deleted it, what we need to do next, now if you select all the controls we have, you discover that some of them, like these controls for the ankle, has rotate value, and it is good practices to ensure that before you hand over any model to an animator, you should ensure that the controls has 0 rotate values, and that's exactly what we'll be doing. To do that, select all the controls, go to modify, freeze transformation, ensure that only the rotate bus is checked. Ensure that only the rotate bus is checked. Do not check the translate bus. Do not check the scale, the joint orient bus. Ensure that it's only the rotate bus that is checked. Then click on freeze transform. And now all our controls now have 0 rotate value. And mind you, we're deleting these 2 controls. We'll be creating new one in other videos. I think okay, we can actually change the looks if you want. So we can actually change the look if you want. So we'll leave the control. We can reduce the scale. We can do the scale value. Scale down a little. Then we can actually move it. Do same for this. Let's delete it, then we'll create. Now that we've done that, we are left with 0 rotate values in our control. 0 rotate values in our control. And deleted the FK joints that we don't need. Now let's create the joints that will drive our model's finger. To do that, head on to our skeleton, create joints. Ensure that the projected century is bus is checked here. Ensure that this bus is checked, and ensure that you set your short bone radius to 0.1, long bone radius to 0.1 also. The reason is that I want to joints to be small in order to what match the size of our model finger. If I click on this now, it's called what we have a small joint. Maya create a small joint for us, and the previous entry enables Maya to be able to calculate the middle of the mesh to place the joint. So you can see now that what if I should what turn off X-ray joint, you won't be able to find what the joint we just created because it's inside what the character. If I turn wireframe mode, now you can see actually what inside the fingers of the character. That's exactly what we need. So we'll be creating what 4 joints for each finger. We're creating 4 joints for each finger. So let's do that. Create the first joint, the second joint, the third joint, and the fourth joint. Then hit enter on your keyboard. We'll do that for the other finger. You can see that this joint here is not aligned properly. It is because I did not click on the model when I was creating these joints, and that's why Maya could not calculate the middle of exactly the place to place that joint. Now let's create for the thumb finger. Now you can see we've created the joints that will drive our character's finger. Then we need to create one joint. We need to create one more joint, and this joint will create it close to the ribs. It's going to be the ribs, the joint for the ribs. Create one very close to the ribs here. Let's enter. Now the thing we need to do is to ensure that we align our joints properly. Ensure they align. You can hold down D on your keyboard to control just one joint, or press insert on your keyboard to just align one joint without moving the child. As you can see, if I move the joint, it only affects that particular joint, and the shoulder are not being affected. So you can press insert on your keyboard or hold down D on your keyboard to do that. Okay, think it's okay. Now what we need to do is click on first we need to rename our joints. We need to rename our joints. It's very important, it's good practice that we rename our joints. We rename the joint as right pinky finger, and we rename every other joint, adding right to the beginning of each name. So as you can see, we have renamed all our joints. You can see if we name our joint, adding right to each joint. And the thing we need to do now is to select our ribs joint, which is this. Then ensure the quick rig character reference group are all open. Quick rig character reference group, not the control reference group, but the character reference group are all open. Head over to what? Select what the reach joint we just created. Control select what? Quick character right hand joint. Head over to modify, mesh transformation, mesh transformation, mesh translation. If you've done that, discover that what our new joint, the reach joint we created, has moved over to what the exact position where the what quick character right hand joint is. Now what we need to do is to set the orientation of that particular joint. So click on what the reach joint we created, head over to what skeleton orient joint. Ensure that what the orientation setting is set to the orient joint toward first is checked, because we want this joint oriented to the word axis, and click on what orient. Now we've done that, but firstly let's first of all go to what turn on the what go to what display, display transform display local rotation axis. We need to turn on the local rotation axis for each of these joints, and ensure that what in the show menu, ensure that what handles are what checked. So now that we've oriented that toward, what we need to do is to do the same for the other joints. But firstly we need to know the orientation of each joint. I made the one Maya created for us. We need to know its orientation, so that we will be able to give the same orientation to the one we just created, to the joint we just created, the one that controls the fingers. So in order to know the orientation of the joints Maya created for us, the FK and AK joint inclusive, we need to firstly let's add the mesh disable show polygon, and we don't need the AK handle, so disable it also. Now let us be left with just the joints. Select all the joints, go towards transform display local rotate axis. So as you can see, we've turned on the local rotate axis. You can do this manually also if you haven't find it difficult to turn them on. You can do them manually by selecting the quick rig control reference. You can select all of them and go to what attribute editor, or use the Control A, or press the Control A in your keyboard and go to what display handle and display local axis. So you can do this manually. So that's for that. Now that what we have turned it on, now we know the what orientation of each joint, the F key and the I key joint. Now if you look at this orientation, S is pointing towards the next joint. S is pointing towards the next joint. Z is pointing sideways, and Y is pointing also sideways. What this means is that in joint orientation, what this means is that the S is the primary axis. The primary axis is simply the axis pointing towards the noise, the charge joints. That's to say that in the shoulder joints, if the primary axis is set to S, it means the S will point towards the elbow joints, and from the elbow joints it will point towards the wrist joints. It's in form of the F key order for kinematics for FK. So the charge joints here, the primary joint here rather, is the S joint is set toward the S axis, while the secondary axis is set toward Z axis, because Z is pointing towards towards us, towards the front direction is set towards Z axis. Because if you look at the word orientation, Z is usually pointing towards you, and the S is pointing towards the left or the right direction, and the Y axis is pointing towards up or down. Towards up is a positive Y, downwards is a negative Y, towards the right is the positive S, and towards the left is the negative S axis. So Y is pointing towards us, meaning the secondary axis is the Y axis, and the secondary axis orientation simply means the direction in which the secondary axis will be pointed towards. In this case, you can see that it's the Y axis which is the secondary axis, also pointing towards the Y axis in the word orientation. So it means one thing, that the secondary axis for orientation is also the Z axis is set toward the Z axis here. So that's exactly what we'll be using for our own joint orientation. So what we need to do now, since we know the joint orientation of all the joints Maya created for us, we need to ensure that our own matches that of the one Maya created for us. So to do that, click on each joint we created for the fingers. Click on each joint for the fingers, and ensure your primary axis is set to S axis, secondary axis is set to Z axis, and the secondary axis rotation is set to Z axis also. And then ensure that orange children of the selected joint is checked, and click on orient. You will see that there has been change in the orientation of our joints. It now matches that of Maya. So we'll look at our joint now. The S axis is pointed towards its child joint. The Z axis is pointed towards the side. It's facing us. It's pointed towards the side here. Yes, it's pointed towards towards what the side. That's exactly what we want. So now I've oriented the joint. For the thumb finger, there will be a little bit extension, because we want each time we curl the finger, we want the thumb finger to curl into the palm of our character. That's exactly how it is. If you demonstrate it, it's going each time you try to close your hands, your fingers, the thumb finger curl into the palm, and that's what we want to do. And the way to fix this is to use the arranger tool. But in this time we are going to change the orientation of the thumb joint. We want to have the primary axis set to S axis T, the secondary axis set to the Z axis, but the secondary axis word orientation should be set to the negative Y axis, and then we'll click on orient. Now that we've done that, the next thing we need to do is to parent all these joints to the rib joint we created. So select the joints and select the rib joint we created, and then press P on your keyboard. As you can see, we have created it. Now that we've done that, what we need to do is parent our rib joints to the right hand joint. So click on the rib joint and then click on right hand joint. The right hand joint, and then press P on your keyboard. Now that we've done this, we will create in the same method. We will create for the joint that will control the tools. So we are actually going to do the same thing, and I would love to speed up the video from here, so we'll make it as short as possible. But I'll be back when I've created the joints for. So I'll be back when I create the joints that will control the tools of our character. So in order to create the joints that will control the tools, what we need to do is first we need to create, like we did for the finger, we need to create for that of the ankle, then create for the one that controls the E, we need one here. Then we need create one through here to give our carrot the foot a better control. We'll create two also here for the two end. And we'll create for the big toe. Let's move this a little to okay. Now we need to rename our joints. Don't forget to always add right to it, so we know the side of the model we are working on. Call this right to end joint. Then let's call this big toe, right big toe joint. You can call this small. Now parent the what, the right two end joints. Okay, we need to rename this one first. I call it right two support. Right, let's call it right ankle support. Now parent the what, the right two end joints to the what, the right ankle support joint. Parent the what, parent this joint to the other, and the big toe to the ankle support joint. Okay, now the E joints. Like we did for the palm, we have to what, ensure we also match the what, the transformation of this joint, the ankle joint. To that of what, the right leg. The right foot. Now we have successfully what, created what, the joints for our toes. What we need to do next is to what, mirror these joints from the right side to the left side of what, of our character. In order to do that, select what, the joint, right rib joint, go towards skeleton, mirror joint. In the option, search for right, replace with what, left. This is one advantage of renaming your joint, so that when mirroring it will be easy, because the mirror joint option in Maya does not only help us to create new joints or mirror new joints, also help us to give it a new name. So click apply. Now you can see that what, a joint has been created here for us. So what we need to do now is to what, click on this left joint, the left rib joint, and control click what, the right hand, the left hand joint. Okay, that's it, left hand joint. Go to a display, modify, match transformation, match translation. And you can see that what, we have moved it to this other side, and you can see it's not properly aligned. So all we need to do is to what, manually adjust it. Okay, I think it's okay. Just manually adjust it. I think it's okay. Then, like before, we'll parent the left wrist joint to the left hand joint. P, click P to parent, and we'll do so same for the toe. Click on the right ankle joint. But first, let's parent it to the right foot joint before we mirror it. Right foot joint before we mirror. P to parent, don't forget. And now we can mirror it across. Same thing, search for right, replace with left. Now we'll match it to the left foot joint. Left foot joint. Match transformation, match translation. And now we'll hit P to parent it. As you can see, we've created the skeleton that will drive the toes and the fingers of our character. We don't need this right toe base joint, so we can delete it. Now what we need to do, now that we successfully created the joints or drive the fingers and the toes of our character, we need to bind them. So to bind them, select ensure all the joints, both the one we created and the one Maya created for us, as the quick read character joints, are all selected. The mesh is also selected also. Then go towards skin. See on rigging menu set, go towards skin, band skin. Click on the checkbox there, and the widgets that appear, ensure that bind to is selected towards selected joint, bind to selected joint, binding method should be closest distance, skinning method should be classic linear, normalized weight should be interactive, weight distribution should be neighbors, sorry, band method should be geodesic. That's what we should use, the last option here in the band method. And the maximum influence should be set to 4. Every other settings should remain the same, and I click on apply. As you can see, we have created successfully created the skeleton or the joint that controls our character fingers. When you control them now, sorry, there we made a mistake here. Look at something. If you look at this group, it's not opened, and that is why you see they don't have influence, no skin cluster, you can see. So please, we'll undo this and ensure that all these groups are open, so that the skeleton can be selected, the joints can be selected individually. Ensure they are open. So we are going to select them again, ensure they are what opened. Select them again. This time we'll unbend the skin, unbend skin. We did that before. Delete history like we did before, then click on detached. So we'll be able to delete what the skin cluster. We'll be creating new one because of what the new joint we created. Sorry. Detached. Whilst it's selected, whilst you have all the joints selected, go towards skin, bend skin, and click on apply. So okay, and now you can see that what ensure the skeletons, all the joints are selected. The one Maya created for us has the quick rig character joints, and the one we created to control the fingers and the toes. Ensure everything is selected and the mesh is selected. Go towards skin, bend skin. In the option, ensure our bend tool is set to select joint. Bend method is set to rotate seek, which is that's the last option there. Sorry if I did not get the pronunciation correctly. The skinning method should be set towards classic linear. Normalized weight should be set towards interactive, and the weight distribution should be set towards neighbor. Maximum influence is 4, and if the other options remain the same, click on what apply. It's loading. And as you can see, we have successfully bend it back to the mesh, and when we use, and the good thing is that the control with Maya created for us is still valid, and for people to successfully add, you can see add this control affect both the joints we created. Now you can see, now if you select on the joints we created and manually rotate, you can see we created this character using, we rigged this character using the quick rig, and now successfully added our own joints to it. Successfully, you can see, so added our own joints to it. So in the next episode, we'll be painting skin width, because if you deform this character now, it deforms well, but then the skin is, you can see, if I deform this character now, you can see the elbow here. You can see the elbow here. So the next episode will be painting skin width. Thank you for watching this tutorial to this very point. I really appreciate you for your patience. And please, this is your first time visiting this channel, or advise you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and do leave a comment so we know what area to cover. See in the next class. Remember this.